Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd. It is 6:22 right now. We got market opening up in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium and we should be good to go. Sent out. Good. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking liquidity over here. All right, marking liquidity over here on the 4-hour time frame. Down to the 1 hour. On down to the 30-minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10-minute. And back down to the 1 minute over here. All right, so I've marked up liquidity over here, guys. Closest level of liquidity above is at 40,160. This is probably going to get hit pre-market. Closest level below is at 40,048. So those are the two closest levels of liquidity to current price. One interesting thing that was mentioned to me yesterday, I believe from Jamie, she mentioned the high-low scalp. So she wasn't taking the high-low scalp entries, but she noticed that these entries have been hitting a lot. It's another price action style strategy. So if there's something that you want to look at as a confluence, then you can probably look at the high-low scalp. If you guys are not familiar with the high-low scalp, it's basically when price breaks and closes past, like a higher high or a lower low. Like for example, higher high right here. This candle broke and closed above it with the buy signal, and this would be a buy entry right there for a high-low scalp entry. It's just something to look at. For I know some of you guys in the past have liked looking at that entry. That's like a favorite for a lot of people. So if you guys haven't looked at it in a while, I mean, it looks like it's been working pretty well. Obviously, you want to take it with some confluences, but like, for example, here, another higher high, candle broken close above it, another buy there. It'd be at the session, so not one that I would take. If and when CJ joins up slowly, I'll probably remind CJ too, because that was one of CJ's favorites. But yeah, it looks like the high-low scalps here have been working pretty well. I'm not going to implement into my own entries because, like I said, I'm sticking to the MPSV2. I'm only going to stick to the MPSV2, probably only stick to that for the rest of the year. But when we get things like that kind of pop up, I'll let you guys know. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd. It is 6:27 right now. We have market opening up in about 3 minutes. It looks like the direction for the breakout today may possibly be a sell. We might get some crazy movement here on open because we do have some news again today. We have the Fed speaking pretty much all day today. At 6 o'clock, we have Fed Goolsbee speaking. Fed Beth speaking at 6. Fed Waller speaking at 6:35. We have S&P Global Services PMI, manufacturing PMI, composite PMI at 6:45. And then we have new home sales at 7 o'clock. Then we have gas stock change at 7:30. So 6:45, 7, and 7:30, we have news coming up. I'm going to mark it up right here. I was thinking of increasing my contract size today, but I'm just going to leave it as is for the week. I'm going to change it on a weekly basis. So right now, not really necessary. 6 and 7:30. All right, I've marked up the news events right here. 6:45, we have inflation news. 7 o'clock, we have new home sales, and at 7:30, we have gas stock change. Hey, Lyle, good morning. Morning, Maria. Morning, Steven. Morning, Christian. Morning, everybody. All right, so looking at this so far, guys, we have an MPSV2 that just came up right here. It looks like it is pushing down to its TP. Not one I would take right now, of course, because this is pre-market. The ATR is currently at 18, so I'd probably use like something like a 2020 right there, which already hit. So pre-market MPSV2 just came up right there. We get a sell signal, retracement, confirmation, push down from that point, full TP. We'll keep looking to see what's next. See, we got market opening up in about 20 seconds. If you guys are looking to take the breakout for today is going to be a sell. Again, like, we talked about over the past couple of days, maybe wait for the market here to the first minute or two to see how it kind of moves around because of the uncertainty with this manipulation here on open. So if you guys are looking to take the breakout, I've got it right here. So you guys can see right there again, another crazy candle on open. This thing's spiking all over the place. So this initially spiked down pretty heavy and it spiked right back up. So like I said, if you're looking to take an entry here for, breakout, probably give it like maybe a minute or two. We're getting into that there. All right, so see how big these candles are. This candle is pretty huge, 70 points. 50 points. So a lot of the candles over here, like the volatility is actually pretty high from pre-market. So I'm not going to adjust my ATR today. Yeah, there's no need because if I go back 14 candles, the candles here were already pretty big. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now. If the candles do move a little crazier, then I'll probably adjust it again. But as of now, I'm probably just going to leave it as is. Or let's see, let's change it to 7 first, and I'm gonna see if there's any like big difference. If there's not a big difference, then I'm just gonna leave it as is. So right now it's at 22. At 28. I guess I could leave it at 7 just for now. All right, we're a minute in. There's not really too much here going on at the moment. Hey, Sam, morning. All right, it is 6:31. We are about a minute or two in so far. We got price kind of just bouncing back and forth. We've been seeing this for the past couple of days, guys. It's just a lot of market manipulation here as price kind of goes back and forth. Let me check CNBC if there's any breaking news today. So here is the initial news. This is another reason why I said, it might be a little tricky to take the breakout today because of there's stuff going on behind the scenes. Whenever there's stuff going on behind the scenes, obviously it's going to affect the market one way or another. There's one thing here. So one of the things that's affecting the market is that we have this. So I think that this is the breaking news from yesterday that kind of affected the market a lot. That's going to affect it today. We were talking about this yesterday, how Trump wants to fire Powell. Today, Trump came out and he said that the news outlets are over exaggerating it. Trump is not looking to fire Powell. So that's good for the economy. It's good for the market because the market doesn't like Powell, right? So this is like why we're seeing a lot of manipulation to the upside, because now since Trump is not trying to fire Powell, that's good for the economy. Things are going to balance out. With the China tariffs, there's three big news events that kind of came out recently. So let me go and I'll put them over here on a list. So the liquidity over here got knocked out. Liquidity over here also got knocked out. But the three big news events that overnight morning. So the first one is Trump no longer looking to fire Powell. That's good for economy. Right. The other one is Trump claims deal with Ukraine and Russia in a few days. And then also Trump claims tariff deals coming close to agreement. So this is why we're getting this big bullish push right now, right? Because this is like the big news that happened overnight. I have a Bloomberg subscription. If you guys have Bloomberg, I don't think it's super necessary, but it's just something that I look at in the morning. Every morning I get the news from Bloomberg, like all the breaking news, basically. So for one, Trump is no longer looking to fire Powell. That's good for the economy, of course. Trump claims a deal with Ukraine and Russia is going to happen in a few days, their ceasefire. They already have a ceasefire. They're both, Ukraine is claiming that Russia is not following it, but Trump said basically they have some sort of deal in play. And then also the tariff deals. Trump is claiming that there's a lot of tariff deals starting to come into agreement with the majority of countries except for China. So with all of this news right here, this is, obviously that's what's causing this big bullish push to the upside, because we're back in the 40,000 price point, right? So see this big push to the upside from yesterday? Basically what happened overnight. The news happened overnight and then it just started climbing to the upside. And that's kind of what's causing this manipulation. Because the thing is, like, price will tend to range, but because we have this news overnight, price is starting to push to the upside. So just keep it in mind. It's nothing to really, you don't have to like really know about this stuff. It's just something to understand why is price pushing up, right? This isn't random because there was news that was happening overnight. Let me go ahead and mark up the opening price over here. Seems like CJ kind of waits a little later to get on the lives now because of the crazy movement here on open. Smart. I mean, it wouldn't make a difference for me because I'm not taking trades right now anyways. Now I'm just waiting for a setup. So we have a possible MPSV2 setting up right here. We had a bullish push right here. We have a retracement, and then we have a possible green candle setting up. The only problem with this here, again, that we just talked about is there's a lot of market manipulation that's happening, within this general vicinity. So for me personally, I like to wait a little bit for an entry to come up. But let me go ahead and take a look if there's any confluences here for us to maybe look for, for a possible buy here. So looking at this here, there's no confluences for a buy on the 1 minute. There's one confluence for a buy on the previous candle here on the 30-minute, nothing on the current candle. Looking at the 1 hour over here, we have some sort of a rejection, but it's not a clean one on the current candle. We have one right here as well on the previous candle, but not on the current one. Z volume profile. It's loading up. Let's go to a clean chart. Clean chart over here, we have some sort of rejection right here off the whole number. This is a 40,150 price point. And over here on the SR. So there's no support and resistance up here. I'm going to go ahead and just mark up some new ones. Got that one right there. All right, crazy candle right there. Yeah, I'm definitely not messing with the market right now. You guys can see that huge push to the upside. And this is crazy. Look at that huge candle. I mean, something obviously happened to push price. That's up 300 points. Yeah, this again is why I kind of hang out for a little bit. Like I said earlier, I have the where's that the news plot that I put earlier? It's still on here. There we go. So like I said, this is why the bullish push is happening, guys. We're having a lot of manipulation because of this, of course. There's stuff that's happening that's affecting the market. So again, like I said earlier, guys, just be careful. I mean, you don't have to get into entries right away. If anything, I'm going to sit tight and just wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a little bit. Something had to happen to push price up like that. Okay, so let's see over here. Another one. Dow rallies 800 points after Trump softened stance on Powell. That's what I just mentioned. China tariffs as well. Stock surge is seeing breaking news here. So there's no breaking news. It just is stocks rally Wednesday morning, which makes sense. There's earnings to this week as well. Okay, so Boeing, Tesla, among the names making moves before the bell. Okay. Yeah, so Boeing is part of the Dow. Narrowing losses. Okay. So it looks like the Boeing losses weren't as bad as people thought. Because we talked about Boeing yesterday and earlier this week about how China canceled their deal. So look how price is coming right back down, right? It's just a manipulated push to the upside. And then price is now coming right back to what it was earlier. So I would just sit tight, guys. No need to force any trades here. Just wait for the market to kind of stabilize a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the confluences one more time. So looking over here at the 1 minute time frame, this is the 1 minute market profile. There's no rejection off the value high. So there's no entry here right now for a buy. No confluence for a buy here, at least not yet. We did have a rejection here for a break and retest into a fake out, but it's kind of irrelevant. So we got that right there. 30-minute time frame. Again, we have no rejection here yet. We have a rejection off the top end, is rejection off the point of control and the volume point of control. Yeah, that big candle right there just kind of made a bit of a mess. I have to wait till closer to 7 o'clock for that confluence to set up. Here on the 1 hour, we have the rejection right there off the value high, but it's also rejecting off the point of control up here. Volume profile, let's see what's going on here. All right, for the volume profile, we got a break and retest off the value high right here. So we do have some bullish confluences. Same with the clean chart over here. We have a rejection right here off the whole number, which is the 40,200 price point. Looking over here, we have, yeah, not much else. I'll draw some more zones right here, I guess. All right, so I mean, price is kind of far out right now on the support resistance. Price is it's tricky right now, currently where it's at. So you guys are looking to take something, I would probably hold tight for a little bit. I mean, there was one right here that was for MPSV2, it looks like, or this was the MPSV2. I wouldn't have taken this huge candle, but we'll wait for the next one to set up here. The ATR is currently at 100 right now, guys. This is yeah, this is kind of hectic. This candle right here pretty much screwed up the ATR, so now we have to wait a little bit for. Well, each candle here was about 100 points. So if you look at this here, guys, every candle right now is like extremely large. This is very, very unusual. Like this one right here, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe one big candle, but every candle here is still very large. This is a 200 point candle. This is a 150 point candle. This is a 130 point candle. 160 point candle. 63 point candle. All right, so just wait a little bit. The market should, I mean, it should start to stabilize a little bit, but these previous candles right here, they're all large. I could see maybe one being really big, maybe two candles, but having about 7 candles here extremely large, that's very unusual, right? Because what I would expect is, okay, a big spike up, maybe a correction, and then market to start to flatten out. It's starting to flatten out a little bit right here, but not really. It's still pretty big. It's a 50 point candle right there. Yeah, Shabam said NQ was almost 600 points. It's crazy. Rashida said she's sitting on her hands. I do the same thing. Christian said it's a red flag for me, of course. Shabam said same, prefer under 40. Rashida said I wanted to do a levels entry. The ATR ruined that. LOL. Yeah, no, 100%. The ATR is crazy right now. So the ATR will start to smoothen out. Just give it some time. Right now it's currently at 98. It was over 100 earlier. It's going to come back down. It's just a matter of time until it does. Nice visual. So visual actually locked in 2-minute orb for 100 points. That big spike right there. Yeah, so visual got 108 due to slippage, but yeah, it's always good when the slippage works in your favor, right? We got news coming up right here at 6:45. This is going to be inflation news. So the news right there at 6:45 is S&P Global Services PMI, manufacturing PMI, and composite PMI. These are all forecasted to be negative. So if the forecast negative there, we'll see if price corrects back down to where it was initially. Back down to here. We'll see. All right, there goes a news candle. I'm gonna mark it up real quick. So there goes the news candle right there. This pink line right here is news. We're gonna see how price reacts to the news event. News has not updated yet, so I'll give it a few moments. So manufacturing PMI was positive. It's like price is kind of pushing up right now. Let's see. All right, so composite manufacturing was positive, services was negative. So with that said, it's a little mixed. We'll see how price reacts to this here. This is the news candle. News candle is about 128 point move. Pretty extreme market today, guys. So we talked about this over the past 2 days. If you guys remember, Monday, Tuesday was kind of slow. I mentioned Wednesday is going to be probably a little crazier because we have a lot of news events today. We had the inflation news just come out right here. Pushed up about 100 points. It was mixed. It was negative and 2 positive. At 7 o'clock over here, we have new home sales. New home sales later at 7 is forecasted to be positive. Sort of positive, yeah. I mean, we'll see if that's the case, price might continue to rally to the upside. I mean, ideally, I was looking for price to be bullish anyways. I was looking for buys to come up here. This candle really threw me off because, I mean, it's good that like visual here was for a buy, but imagine if you were in this for a sell. That's crazy. You for sure would hit slippage if you were in a sell and price spiked up like this, because this candle came up within seconds and it shot up over 300 points. given I was probably only going to look for buys anyways, because I discussed the news earlier. All the news that happened overnight was based off, a bullish push. Let's take a look at the overall trend right now. So the 4 hour over here is currently bullish now. It was neutral, it turned into bullish. The 1 hour here is also bullish, 30 minutes bullish. Everything's bullish basically. 1, 5, 10, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, all bullish here. Yeah, it looks like it's probably going to keep holding. I'm looking at the momentum divergence indicator down below. It looks like the bullish push to the upside is likely to continue. So I'll probably look for buys here. Look for buys there, of course, if possible. Looks like CJ just entered. Hey, CJ. It seems like CJ's been waiting for the market here to stabilize a little bit. Okay, so the ATR is back to 77, guys. So that's good. If you look down here, the ATR is back to 77. It's still really high. So I'm probably still going to sit out for a little bit right now until it smooths out a little more. But I'll hang out for a bit. So I know some of you guys are probably going to wonder like where Barack is. Barack hasn't been in the chat for a while. If you guys haven't talked to Barack, he's actually traveling right now. He's bringing his kids internationally to put them in school. So he's going to try to get on when he can, whenever internet connection allows him to. But yeah, Barack is traveling for a bit. I think he's traveling for a couple of weeks, he mentioned. He's bringing his kid overseas to for school. And he's gonna leave his kid there for school, I think. So until he comes back. Let's see, Glenn said maybe a 50-50 TP stop loss would be good. Ideally, yeah, maybe a 50-50 could be good. I think it's still a little tight. I mean, it could work. 50-50 could work. I think the ATR is still really high, but yeah, 50-50 would be better than a 30-30 for sure. We'll just see how these candles here start to kind of smoothen out a little bit. It looks like the average now is going to be around 50 points. So yeah, like you said, Glenn, I think 50-50 could be good if the candles stay at the size. If they push any higher, like closer to 70, 70-70 might be better. I don't think this number is going to stick though. I think after the next couple minutes that this is going to possibly just drop down lower. So 77 is going to be the setting for 7. Let me see, 14. It might be too high if I put it back to 14. No, okay, so the 14 here is actually not bad. I put my ATR back to 14, guys, and it is slowly dropping down a bit lower. It's currently at 69 now. So if you want to keep it a little tight, then you could possibly keep it at, I would say maybe 50-50. Ideally, I think 70-70 might work here. I don't really want to change my settings to 70-70 because it's going to be such a hassle to move it back if it starts to slow down, which I do think it's going to slow down. I don't think this is going to hold, guys. Like we have these huge candles right here, and it's still pushing up, but the candles are starting to get a bit smaller, right? So over time, the ATR should drop at least a little bit. I'm just gonna sit tight right now. There's no need for me to really focus. And there's no need to force anything here, guys. We've had a pretty decent week so far, so there's no need to go crazy right now, right? Just be patient. Let the market here stabilize a little bit. Once it stabilizes, then we'll continue looking for the next opportunity, of course. Just a matter of time. All right, ACR is currently at 70. I mean, this is fine. I'm kind of waiting for the 7 o'clock candle to close anyways. Because even if we were to look for some entries here, there's no there's not really much of a confluence. We have some confluences here for buy, of course, off the market profile 1 minute. There's nothing really going to be here on the 30 yet. This price is so high. If anything, I'm going to be looking for buys. I think that's pretty much what I'll be looking for today. All right, the ATR has dropped a little bit. It's down to 67, which is good. We want it to keep dropping lower and lower back to where it's supposed to be at. Okay, we're getting some big candles here again. I think this is one of the days to sit out, guys. This isn't one of those days to take anything too risky. Because huge candle here for a drop about 155 points. Yeah, this is one of those days where you should probably sit on the sideline, guys. I'm not really looking like I'm not tempted to take anything here. There's opportunity to make profit in this market. There's also opportunity to blow your account because these candles are just way too big. Let me check CNBC again. Any breaking news here? Like I'm trying to figure out. I mean, obviously I know what's going on, but it's the same news that we looked at earlier. It's just updating to like bigger numbers. So it went from like Dow rallies 500 points to Dow rallies 600 points to now Dow rallies 1,000 points. It's just going to keep going back and forth. You know, just when we thought the market was going back to normal, got some craziness here again. So the good thing with this is that this doesn't seem like an everyday type thing, right? I feel like this crazy movement happens just every once in a while. It's not like 2 weeks ago where it was happening every single day. So breaking news here on BizTalk. So Tesla profits plunged. How will Trump's tariffs cuts trade impact trade? I think make sure word first. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really see anything here that's really, causing these big spikes, like these random spikes. I think that right now it's just there's a lot of big players in the market that are causing price to kind of push around. I mean, these are obviously not pushes for like there's nothing here happening with retail traders because I'm looking at the time and sales and there's no retail traders here really pushing price around. Time and sales really covers mainly, I mean, it covers all the executions in the open market, but not any of these that are happening in the this is like what people call a dark pool. It's like these big orders that come in but they happen off market basically. That'll cause people to like kind of chase these movements. So what I'm looking for here is I'm probably looking for this range to complete, right? So like looking for it to come back down to this area right here and establish a range, of course. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. Because this big push to the upside, there had to be like some sort of correction that would happen eventually. All right, so I see this as like a pretty big range that's starting to set up here. What happens here next? I think price might sit within this area for a bit. The ETR is still at 73, so it's very high right now. It's going to be really hard for people with smaller accounts to trade this type of market. Well, not this type of market, but just today in general. I would probably just kind of sit tight, guys. If you guys have a small account, like a 50K account, I mean, it's gonna be really difficult for you to take a 70. So let's see, 1 times 5 times 70. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard. I think 70 is okay. Yeah, the difference is just huge. So if you go from one contract to two contracts, you go from a 350 risk to a 700 risk. It's kind of pushing it. Anything above 70 is going to be out of the question. I think 70 is as far as you can really go if you're in a smaller account. If you go anything higher than that, let's see. Because you probably want to use something like an 80 here. It's 400 risk with a two contract. Yeah, the risk is pretty high on a smaller account. So if anything, I might just shut down my smaller accounts if anything. For the most part, I'm probably just gonna wait. I don't think there's a reason for me to really force any trades here. The ATR is currently at 68. Eventually, it's gonna drop down. I think if it drops down closer to like 50, then I'd be a little more inclined to take entries. But anything above like 65 is like kind of pushing it. The reason why I say that is because if it stays around 65 or stays around like 70 right here, it means that majority of these candles are going to stay around the 70 mark, right? So a small candle would be considered about like 70, 60, 70 points. And then when you get one of these big candles that kind of pops out of nowhere, this could really screw up your account if there's slippage. So I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. CJ said, I guess I'll get a couple more accounts while we wait since they're 90% off. Yeah, so guys, Apex is having a 90% off sale going on right now. I don't know how long it's going to last for, but I think it's going to last until the end of the month. So if you guys want to stack up on Apex accounts, this is the best deal that you're going to get. It's 90%. I know at some point, like last year or 2 years ago, they had it go up to like 95%, but I think 90% is really, that's going to be the threshold of like the best discount you can get. It's 90% off first sign up, and then recurring will be at 80%. Plus, there's a 1 day pass, plus half off activation fee, plus there's just a pretty crazy promo going on. Oh, Sean said it's only until tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to stock up on Apex accounts, this would be the day. All right, so here's new home sales coming out, guys. This is the news at 7 o'clock. I'll mark up the news right there. That was a crazy candle. Look at this huge candle right here. This thing could have wiped people out in either direction, to the downside and to the upside. Let me check the news real quick. So the new home sales right there, looks like it was positive. This was huge. Look at this big change. So it was 1.8 last month. It was forecasted to be 0.2. It was actually 7.4. It's huge. A lot of like a ton of sales happening. This is kind of crazy, the new home sales that's coming out, because the interest rates didn't drop. It's just people are going on a frenzy to buy homes right now. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's a big jump right there. So it went from 1.8 to 7.4. So between basically from March to April, this is how much of an increase in new home sales. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a big number. So with that said, obviously you can see the manipulation right here. This candle was huge. Price came up, it came down first, and then it shot all the way up, and then it came right back down. And then it's right back down to where it started. So it's a huge manipulation on that news candle right there. About a 258 point push back and forth. But you can see how price is respecting the range here that I marked up for you guys. Basically a triple top right there. I mean, if price doesn't come back down to this lower area right here, then I mean, it might just sit around this point for the middle range. We'll see. I'll just leave this here for now. This is kind of where price is currently ranging at the moment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay here, but it's kind of just where it's at currently. Let's see. Yes, Longy said all speculation and excitement. I agree. Has a lot to do with it right now. A lot of people are hopping in because they want to chase these push to the upside or chase this correction to the downside. I mean, the ATR is too high, guys. Even for me, it's too high, right? I'm not taking any risks right now. It's 81 ATR. CJ said I had a feeling today would be weird when I saw the huge gap in the market from yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot of news events that happen overnight. I know you got in a little late today, CJ. So like for one, Trump mentioned that he's no longer looking to fire Powell. That's a big thing. Because obviously that's good for the economy. There's no like intergovernment, like then the people aren't trying to fire people that are important in government right now. I mean, Trump's still looking to lay off a bunch of people due to Dodge, but Powell's a big key in the economy. So yeah, he's no longer looking to fire Powell. The second thing is the Ukraine and Russia agreement. So Powell or Trump basically mentioned that the agreements is bound to happen in a few days. So that's a big thing too. That's gonna halt the Ukraine-Russia war. And then with the tariffs. So Trump basically, Trump talks about a lot of things. There's a lot of talk. And the thing is, a lot of people run with whatever he has to say. So with that said, that's why we had this big bullish push. It's been bullish since like London session because that's when he started to announce things, or the news outlets started to announce things. So that's why price kind of climbed up a little bit. We cut back into the 40,000 range, and then now we got this big push back up to the upside higher. So ideally I was looking here for a buy, but there's just no opportunities here right now. If you guys are looking for an NPS V2, there's an NPS V2 setting up at any moment here. Actually already came up. So buy signal, retracement, this buy candle over here came up. This would technically be an NPS V2. The only problem is the ATR is so high that obviously I wouldn't really want to mess with it. The ATR is currently at it's at 80 right now, so that's why I would set a TP stop loss too. So if anybody was looking to take an NPS V2, there's a buy signal retracement confirmation right here, and then price is climbing up in profit. Not one I would mess with because I'm not really looking to go too high with my TP stop loss. So I'm just waiting for the ATR here to kind of calm down a little bit. I don't think this is normal occurrence. I think the market may start to kind of go back to normal tomorrow, or sort of normal. So let's see. Yeah, PC said a lot of inducement in the market right now. I agree. Visual said, I think I'll take my 180 point and run. See you all tomorrow. All right, Visual, see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff happening, with regard to price being pushed around. It's tricky. It's tricky, and the ATR is not really stable right now. So the ATR will jump to like 60, like earlier it was at like 68, 65, drop back to like 80. So it's pretty big jumps because we have these like candles that kind of pop up out of nowhere, like this one, that starts to throw off the ATR a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Diagonal said it's starting to get warm, usually spike sales, no one buys in the winter. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as we enter the spring, this number isn't like super unusual, but it is a little unusual because this is a really big jump. But yeah, between winter and the spring season, the new home sales do go up because people are trying to move in the winter, right? It's the same with like apartment renting. If you look at apartments or like any place that you guys typically look to rent, you'll see that rent is a lot cheaper if you rent in December versus if you rent in the summer, because that's when demand is a lot higher. So it does move with the seasons, kind of similar to like how the market moves in the seasons. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Let's see, CJ's asking, hey Sean, would you consider trading micros for your smaller accounts? Yeah, possibly. During the eval phase, I would, but during the PA phase, I probably wouldn't. I would just sit out of the market. One issue that I think Andrew, yeah, it was Andrew that hit me up yesterday. He got denied a payout of Apex because when the market was moving crazy last like 2 weeks ago, he adjusted his PA counts to micros, or he just dropped the contract size, and he got denied a payout because you're not supposed to do that. That's against the rules. So if you're trading with Apex, that's something that they still look at. I thought they scrapped that rule, but that rule is still valid. You can't really change contract sizes like dramatically. You can't go from trading and it's not gonna be a huge difference, but you can't go from trading like say a 15 contract and going down to one contract. Like that's a big change. Or if you go from like 10 contracts on minis and then you go down to like or you go up to like 80 contracts or like 50 contracts on the micros, it's going to be an issue with Apex. So you guys can see our price is having trouble getting past this range. I'm going to take this off. I don't want you guys to think that I'm in a position, but price is respecting the range that I drew here. So I drew this range here earlier. When I saw this big push to the upside, I was like, oh, price is probably going to range within this area. And that's exactly what's happening here, right? Price is having trouble getting past this upper range. Basically, we have a quadruple top here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just sitting right here down the middle. Ideally, I think if price does push above it, it'll continue. Like if we get a break and retest up here, it'll climb up higher. I personally would look for buys here for the most part. I wouldn't really look for sells here. I don't think price will well, it might eventually come back down to open, but I think right now price is sticking around this top end right here. ATR is still at 76. Yeah, Andrew said, yeah, I made a big change since ATR was at 200 at one point. I went to one contract, yeah. Which is fine. Like what I told Andrew is that happened to me before too. So that's something that's happened to me. What happened was like I denied a payout because of that specific reason. And then on the next payout request, the next 8 days, they're okay, they approved it. So don't be too scared about trading with Apex, guys. If you guys do trade with Apex and if you guys do get denied, just understand that it's usually because you probably violated one of the rules. Like you probably unknowingly violated one of them. But you'll eventually get paid out in the next one. You just got to take it easy. And basically every cycle. So if you request a payout and you get denied during that next cycle, do everything the same. Don't change your contract sizes. Don't change your assets. Just do it exactly the same. Don't change your strategies. Get the same, profits per trade, and then you should be fine on the next payout. They're like real sticklers about it, but I mean it's the rules, of course, so you just have to follow them. Daniel said, "Holy shit, that trade took forever. Done for the day." So Daniel took the entry over here for a 70-70. There's the MPSV2 that came up right here, guys. Daniel took it for 70-70 and he got out. So he got out at that upper range. Nice work, Daniel. Daniel said blood pressure high. Yeah, like I said, the strategy is still working and it's hitting, but it's like we just discussed, it's just kind of a tricky place to be trading, especially if you're on a smaller account. If you're on a bigger account, you can take more risk, of course, you can just lower your contract size. But yeah, I mean it's a tricky setup. ATR here is at 70, so that 70-70 was good. Yeah, Rashida said I was getting ready to take levels and it hit before I can blink. Now let's go over here to the clean chart. Yeah, so the levels are hitting here as well. So like price pulled below, closed above right here. Yeah, this levels entry is actually pretty nice. 6. Yeah, during a market like this, the level strategy actually works pretty well. Because you can see price is respecting the levels. Like for example, here price is breaking above. This is another possible levels entry. Yeah, possibly right there again. I would look at the confluences though to make sure that, obviously everything's kind of pointing in your direction. I think the buys would be good. Buys would be safer bets here for level entries. Let's take a look at the confluences. There's a rejection right here for volume profile. That's good. There is a rejection right here on the 1 hour market profile. Good as well. Same with the 30. So yeah, the buys here are looking good if there's any buy entry that you guys are looking to take. All right, so these candles are getting really small now. They're dropping dramatically. So they're like the ATR is now at 63. I mean, these candles look small, but these are actually normal candles. Right, like 20-point candle, 30-point candle right here. They look small compared to the previous ones, but these are how the actual candles are supposed to look like right now. Oh, it's so weird, Andrew. So Andrew said the odd thing is that it was only denied for one account. The rest got approved this morning. So it's all good. Maybe the account had extra slippage I didn't notice. Was worried they were all going to be denied. Oh, well, that's good then. Yeah. I would have figured they all would have been denied if that was the case, Andrew. But it's all good. At least on the next one, you'll have a bigger payout on the next request. Yeah, no, it's solid. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, CJ said that's crazy because market movement a couple of weeks ago was insane. Should have given him a payout. Oh yeah, no, definitely. So it's good. It looks like he did get the payout, so that's good to hear. But the market was crazy. I guess like, I was telling Andrew too, like you could technically complain to them about it, but I don't really like them looking into my accounts. Like honestly, if they need to review my accounts, that's like worse. I'd rather just have them pay me out or I'll just wait until the next one. Because obviously if you stay consistent, you'll be fine. Yeah, the last thing you want is for these prop firms to like really look into your accounts. Because if they look into your accounts deeply, they might find something that you don't even realize that you did. And it's gonna come down harder on you than it would if you didn't. It's kind of same with what happened with me with Ninja Trader, right? I complained because I couldn't get my logins where my accounts wouldn't log in. And then they looked into my accounts and then now they shut down my hedge fund. Well, they didn't shut it down, but it's frozen until I get my Series 3 license. So like if I just kept my mouth shut, I would have been okay. But it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. I was gonna have to get that license anyways, eventually. So yeah, still on that grind. All right, guys, ATR is currently at 60 now. So big drop in ATR. We're going back to what we were expecting earlier. This calendar is kind of big, but the ATR is dropping quite a bit. We're down to 61 ATR. So like I said earlier, we just had like some crazy movement here and it started to slow down a little bit. And then one crazy candle, slow down a little bit, another crazy candle, slow down a little bit. Now it's starting to kind of, I want to say stabilize a little bit. But it's still respecting this range here that I drew. So I'm just going to keep extending my range out a little further. So price still has yet to break and close above this range here. And price is now retesting this lower range down here. So about basically a triple bottom right here if it bounces off. Let's see, Sam said did not like that big red candle before the range, so skipped it, selling gold as a directional at the moment. Break and retest twice for 120 pips total. Nice. Solid. Yeah, we have gas stock change coming up over here at 7:30. This is every Wednesday type news. So every Wednesday this news event comes out. It's I mean it affects the market to some extent, but it's not like usually doesn't have a huge impact. Today it might because of like obviously the current movement, but usually it doesn't really have a huge impact most of the time. So we'll see. We'll see here as price continues to Move along, I guess. Just gonna be a matter of time. Yeah, Valentin said some serious sell orders in ES and NQ. Yeah, same here on YM. There's it's starting to sell off right now a little bit. Let's go to ES real quick. Yeah, same with ES. ES is moving exactly like YM right now. Let's check NQ. Same thing. They're actually it's crazy. They all look exactly the same. If you look over here at NQ, it looks exactly like ES. And you look at ES, look at YM. They're all exactly the same right now. That's crazy. I've never seen the well, I don't want to say never, but I haven't seen all of the the big three really go in the same direction. These are all they're all kind of messed up over here. I mean, they're not messed up, they're just all kind of moving in the same direction. Tarek said left for 15 minutes. Did I miss a trade or was that just the markup? This was a trade that came up. This was an NPSV2. I didn't take it, but Daniel took it. So one of the guys in the group, Daniel, he took the trade here for 70 points. This was an NPSV2. There's a buy signal, price retraced right here, confirmation on that green candle, and then he wrote it up over here for 70 points to that upper range, basically. I didn't take it. I didn't want to take it because of this crazy red candle right here. But Daniel took it. I mean, there's confluences for it. It's just, I obviously I'm not taking trades when I have these crazy manipulated candles come up. But it was solid. Let's see. CJ's asking for levels indicator. Do you have the range set to 50? Yeah, I have it set to 50 for mine. So here are my settings for my MPS levels. I have 20 levels marked up, and then I have my range set to 50. I got my light set to solid. 50 is good because we're just looking for those bounce points. I mean, if you really want to just have the level set at 100, you can do that too. The levels at 100 is actually a lot cleaner. If you're applying the level strategy, I think the 100 is probably going to be a little better because you have more space. But if you're looking for bounce points, I'd probably use a 50. Just so you have more bounce points available for you. Let's see, Christian said that was also on a red flag. Yeah, there's news price that was right there too. So there's the entry that came up right here, Tarek. There's red flags. So like there's a lot of reasons not to take the entry. It's just marked up because Daniel took it. So we wanted to mark it up to see how we wrote it up. I initially had it set to 80 when I marked it up, but I think 70 would have been better because you would have gotten out at the range. Yeah, exactly. Tarek said, yeah, saw that. I would take it if it was above your box and broke above. Yeah, same with me too. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for price to break and retest and come up higher from there. There's a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. The only problem is that the ATR is still really high. So like you guys probably want to use a 70-70 for your TP stop loss if you guys are looking to take this entry here. Let me see if there's any confluences for a sell. I personally don't really like sells right now. There's no confluences here on the 1 minute market profile. There's sort of a rejection right here off the point of control on the 30. Right here on the 1 hour, we do have the same thing, rejection off the point of control. Volume profile, nothing there. Clean chart, nothing there. SR, nothing here, of course. So there's not enough confluences there. There's only 2 confluences for 30-minute and 1 hour market profile, which is just not enough for me to want to take an entry there, especially for a sell. Yeah, so if you guys are looking to take it, I have it marked up right here. This is the MPS V2 for a sell. You might want to use a smaller TP stop loss, actually. The ATR is currently at 62 right now. So instead of a 70-70, maybe a 65-65 would work. Yeah, 65-65 could probably work. If anybody is looking to take that there, of course. Not in the position, just marking it up there for you guys. Ton of liquidity hitting around this area. Basically break and retest off that liquidity zone. More liquidity down here as well. All right, the ATR is starting to drop down a bit more. It's currently at 60 right now. It dropped down to below 60 like a little while ago. Not in anything here right now, guys. And I personally don't really feel comfortable taking sells because everything here is pointing towards a buy, of course. Yeah, I'm looking over here at the overall trend. The overall trend is still very bullish. So the sells here be tricky for me to want to take. I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position. We'll come back and take a look at it in a few. But the sells here just don't look good. There wasn't any confluences there anyways. Yeah, news coming up in about 7 minutes. We have gas stock change in crude oil. All right, we got price pushing up right here, back into the box. So looks like price is going back into this range here. Looks like it faked out below, swings back up, back into this area here in the middle. Check CNBC, any news real quick. So Treasury Secretary Bissett is currently speaking right now. All right, so Treasury Secretary Bassett outlines plans to restore equilibrium to world financial system. All right, so this is actually pretty big. Let's see what we got here. Let this load up. Let's see. All right, looks like he just got done speaking. Who's up next? Okay, so they're gonna have yeah, Bassett just got done speaking, and now they are gonna have a Q&A. So what he said. So Bassett told investors in a closed-door meeting Tuesday that he expects there will be a de-escalation in President Trump's trade war with China in the very near future. Okay, so that's probably what's causing price to, or it's going to cause price to push up. So again, this just reinforces basically what Trump said. You know, he said that there's a lot of agreements coming into play with the tariffs. Over here, the Treasury Secretary Bassett basically said that there will be de-escalation. So the tariffs are going to be coming down in the very near future. Yeah, the same with here. It says that Bassett's speech comes as Trump's administration is reportedly weight cutting steep tariffs on China. So the tariffs are going to start to fall off. That's what it's looking like here. And the Fed usually doesn't lie about this stuff. So you know you'll see Trump lie about a lot of things, but the Fed doesn't lie about things for the most part. So we'll see. If that's the case, then you know we probably see a nice recovery over here in the market. We have a possible NPSV2 setting up right here. Let me check real quick. I just don't like how these candles are currently. 62, so I have probably 65, 65. I think this is a little too risky because it's gonna have to cut into that lease price up there. The bullish push here is probably based off what happened right here with Bassett. So Target's actually in it right now. Nice for a Target. I was tempted to get into that for a 40. The 40 would have hit already too. Yeah, it's just a little too slow on that analysis. I wasn't able to check the confluences, so I don't want to hop in right away. There's nothing on the 1. There's a 30 rejection, hour rejection. That's crazy. This thing was like way down here just a few seconds ago. Nothing on the volume profile. There's a rejection right here off the clean chart, off the whole number. 40,350. Nice. Yeah, so Tarek said that he got in for a 60-60. Makes sense. Almost at your TP, bro. let that hit real quick. About to hit right now. There you go, full TP. Looks like. There you go, full TP, bro. Nice work on catching that there. If you did the 65, 65, that one also looks like would have played out, but 60-60 is good too. Either way, 65, 65 would have hit. So nice work, Tarek, and Kyle as well. Kyle said entered, but had slippage on the followers. It's all good. Looks like you probably hit your TP on that too, Kyle. Yeah, I would have expected some slippage. See, this right here would have been a good entry if I would have came back to it a little sooner. It's just yeah, looking at this over here. Because this helped it a lot with Besset basically confirming that the tariffs are going to start to fall off. Nice. Sam took it as well. Nice work, Sam. Caught it for 50 points. Solid work, guys. So great. Sam caught it, Tarek caught it, Kyle caught it, whoever else caught it. Nice work, guys. So you guys can see here the NPSV2 is working perfectly fine. It's just you have to understand like what the ATR is at. I mean, the 40-40 would have worked here, but it's, you know, you're taking a risk when you're taking a tight TP stop loss like that. So nice work, guys. There was no drawdown on that trade either. So it was like perfect, just kind of push through. And here we are back in this consolidation range. All right. So that said, nice. Adam caught it too. Nice work, Adam. Hopefully Chris caught it too with you. Arik is asking, Sean, couldn't we go for 300 per trade and take all the trades and still be good? Yeah, I mean, every trade today hit, Arik, so if you took it, I mean, you would have been fine. Doesn't matter how much you really go for. I mean, you're really looking to have those trades hit. So if the trades are hitting, then you should be perfectly fine. I don't know if you could go for 300 though. 300 is, the thing is the TP stop losses are different for these. So if you're doing 1 times 5 times 70, like this one would have been a little higher. It'd be up at 350. Your profits would be different across the board, Arc. You're not gonna have exact 300 every time. I mean, you can if you want, but like if you wanted to pull out early, you could. Like for example, this is 65 right here. So if you did 1 times 5 times 65, you'd still be around that 300 mark. So yeah, I mean, short answer to your question is yes, you can. You just wouldn't be able to if the TP stop loss was any higher. So if it was up to like 80, I think that's where you're kind of pushing it, or you might be like right at the dot. Yeah. So if you go up to 80, then you'll be making 400. Yeah. So the highest TP stop loss you have to go, or that you could go, would probably be like 70. So like whenever it's 70 ATR, it's like okay for you to enter. Anything above that, it's going to be a little too high. You'll be risking more than 300. Yeah, so if you wanted to do that arc, you could just make sure to take a look at the ATR down here. Just make sure this doesn't ever go up to above 70, and you should be good. Yeah, then this number will always be down at the bottom of my chart. So if you ever want to look at it, all right, just take a look at it. If it's ever above 70, just that's the time to just sit out. Otherwise, you can take these other entries here. You just want to have your TP stop loss set to whatever the ATR is at. Right now it's at 55, kind of slow down a bit. We have news right here. Here's a gas stock change at 7:30. Not really too much of an impact. You can see right there, it didn't really do anything. Yeah, the gas stock change over here was pretty mixed. Neutral for the most part, and then some negative ones right here. Crazy market today. It's a little bit of a tricky market today, so playing it safe, not really doing anything crazy. Let's see, it's 7:30, so we have a new 30-minute candle here that just closed out. This means there's gonna be more confluences or new confluences here on the 30-minute time frame. So I'll be looking for some possible opportunities here for entry. The ATR is back to 50, so I'm a little more inclined to take entries at this point. Yeah, the ATR is coming back down, so it should be good. Should be good for the most part. Yeah, I'm glad you guys caught that, Tarek and Kyle. You guys, you guys bounced back from yesterday's unfortunate loss. That TP it just spiked your stop loss, like literally spiked to it and then came right back up. Yeah, Tarek said it was hard to walk away with an L, but following the rules pays. Yeah, 100%. So yesterday, if you guys were on the live session, Tarek and Kyle, they took a MPSV2. The only problem was that their stop loss was just a little too tight because of the ATR. They got spiked out and then it went straight up to their TP. So good thing that they didn't revenge trade or overtrade or FOMO into anything. They kept their cool, came back today, bounced back with this win over here. So it's a key thing. It's key. There's an A++ that came up over here too, guys. Looks like Sam over here caught it as well. So Sam said, oh my God, it's A++. He took it this time, full TP, nice work. Yeah, so there's entries here for A++, guys. They're just at the session. So that's one thing that I'd be kind of worried about. There's A++ setups that are coming up right here, depending if you went for 50 or if you went for 40. I mean, either way, I would have gone for 40 because my TP stop losses are set at 40 right now. So obviously that would have hit. And that would have hit too. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, you're killing it today. Nice work with your break and retest and also with these A++ that are coming up. And then Rashida over here also caught at levels for 25. Nice work, Rashida. Yeah, solid work right there. So Rashida got it for a levels entry right here. So if you guys missed what I talked about earlier, guys, a lot of these older strategies that we don't typically look at as often, they're hitting. So like one thing that that Jamie mentioned to me yesterday, she told me that she's been looking at the high-low scalps off the higher highs and the lower lows, and those have been hitting for her, and she's been noticing it. There's not really much over here, but if you look over here, like pre-market, so there's a higher high right here. Price broke and closed above it with a buy signal. And obviously that would have been a full TP right there. There hasn't been any high-low scalps that have came up today so far, but if you guys are one of those people who like to apply the high-low scalps in the past, another one right here. There's a high low. This was in a lower low, but this is a higher low. Could have been taken down for about 50 points or so. Yeah. It's another full TP right there if you were to take the high-low scalps. If you guys have been part of the group for a while, you guys are familiar with that strategy. If you guys aren't too familiar, then it used to be one of our main strategies. So like in the past, that was like one of the main strategies that we would apply. It was the high-low scalp. Sam said, I missed yesterday, my wife's birthday, getting all for yesterday's too. Yeah, no, definitely, Sam. It's a little birthday present for your wife, right? Yeah, I was wondering where you were because you weren't here yesterday and you're always on here. Like I never see you miss. So yeah, no, good to have that little break for your wife's birthday and good to have you back here, of course, back in the profits. Let's see, CJ said A++ finally hit for me, caught it for 50 points. All right, nice. So CJ caught the A++ that we just mentioned right here for about 50 points. I think it was one prior, right? Let me check. So we had buy signal here. Yeah, the A++ was actually right there. So good news here is that the entries are hitting, right? We're having some pretty good progress with the entries here. The strategies are hitting. It's just TP stop losses are kind of shifty because of the ATR. The ATR is now down to 44. So it looks like I can possibly take some entries here with some 40 TP stop loss. Like I said, this is typically what happens. You just gotta wait for the market to kind of stabilize and go back to normal. And that's what I've been waiting for here. So now that the market is sort of back to normal, what I'm going to be looking for here next is I kind of want to see a sell signal come up. So I'd like to see price kind of push up a little bit further, retest with the sell signal, and continuation back up from there. Something like that. Arik is asking, was it high-low scalps how you got most of your accounts? I mean, that was a long time ago. I haven't applied the high-low scalp since like last year, Arik. But yeah, I mean, that was a strategy that was used in the past. I think you might be trying to do too much, Arik. So you should probably, if you want to, I mean, feel free to, but it seems like you're doing too much. Like you're trying to learn how to do everything, but you still don't have like the basics down with your TP stop loss and your risk and stuff like that. But if you do want to apply that strategy, I mean, feel free, Arik. You're the type of person that wants to take every single entry, right? So yes, it's a good strategy, and yes, in the past, it was a strategy that I used to pass my accounts. When you're trading with FTMO, that was one of the main strategies. So during that time period, when we were trading with FTMO, that was one of the main strategies, and I did use that to pass a lot of my FTMO accounts in the past. So I just haven't used it very much recently. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. RX said sticking with NPSV2. He was just wondering. Yeah, it's a good strat. I mean, I would never put out a strategy that's not good, right? All the strategies that are in the course are strategies we've applied in the past. They've all had deep back testing and forward testing and live testing. Like I wouldn't introduce a strategy to you guys that doesn't work well because that just looks bad on my part, right? Like why would I introduce something that doesn't work well? So yeah, I mean, depends on how much you want to learn, how much you want to be using. It's just so the thing is, if you know all the strategies, you can probably catch an entry here no matter what, right? For me, I'm looking for these MPSV2, so I'm being very patient, very conservative. But if you look at the course of the course here with all the strategies, if you know every single strategy here, like every single strategy, and I mean every single strategy, you'll be able to catch at least one or two entries easily, like early on in the session. Because if you look back over here, there's a ton of entries that would have came up between 6:30 and 7. It's just for me, I'm trying to make it a point here that you can follow just one strategy and you can be successful with it, right? You can be consistent and you can do very well with it. So that's my aspect of it. But I mean, if you know all the strategies, there's going to be some sort of setup that will come up at any point. Like for example, if I'm just going to eyeball right here, let's eyeball from 6:30 up until now, right? We had a breakout V3 over here. There's a buy signal followed by a green candle. That's a breakout V3 or a breakout V3 continuation. That would have hit TP regardless of the fact. This would have been a pivot scalp. This would have hit. This would have been a market flow. That would have hit. There's a momentum scalp right here. That would have hit. This would have been there's so many entries here that would have came up, right? Like I can just eyeball like almost like 5 or 6 entries that would have came up right here, and then another one right there. This right here would be a momentum reversal. You could have had your entry hanging out right there. So it just kind of depends, like I said, you just got to focus on one or two strategies, and then just kind of execute it. But if you know any of these strategies here, you're going to find at least one or two entries that came up. The liquidity push, of course, comes up every morning. I mean, there's a ton of entries here that could have been taken. Momentum micro scalp, V1 variation, pivot scalp, etc. Like the V1s would have happened around this area. And it's really just like a preference. For me, I kind of like the peace of mind of just taking one entry and then having to focus on that one entry by itself. All right, 741 right now. We have a sell signal here that's currently pending. This is what we wanted. So I'm hoping that the sell signal does close so that we have a confirmation of retracement. Once we have that confirmation of retracement, we'll be looking for price to, obviously swing back up. All right, we have the sell signal, which came up right there. Now I'm just waiting for another confirmation. See if this swings back up. If this swings back up, I might get an opportunity for a buy here. The ATR is back down to 42, so the ATR is definitely a lot slower, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but if it slows down like this, it's gonna be harder for us to get an actual setup that'll actually come up here. Let's see, we have the green candle here pushing up. So what I'm looking for right here, guys, is I'm looking for a buy signal to come up, looking for the price to push up a little bit, retrace, continuation of back higher. Basically, I'm breaking retest off this area right here, this upper range. ATR is currently at 45. That's a good sign. We're back to normal ATR. So like we talked about earlier, guys, I think this crazy movement was just based off the news that happened overnight. And then obviously all the news that was happening today with the Fed and the actual news event. So price kind of spiked around a bit. But now that we're back to normal market conditions or somewhat normal, ATR is back down to 42. So I think a 40-40 TP stop loss can work pretty decently right here. It's a little tight, but I mean, if we're we got about 15 minutes till 8 o'clock. Still no buy signal. I'm looking for that buy signal to push up. There we go. We got a pending buy signal on this current candle right here. Let's see if there's a high-low scalp that I was setting up over here too. So here's what I'm gonna be looking for. With that buy signal, price could possibly break and close past this area of liquidity right here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna update levels of liquidity around current price because there's obviously a lot more levels here, just so that we have an idea of like where liquidity is currently sitting. I can turn this off. All right, so you can kind of see where price is trying to get past here. Basically, these levels of liquidity here. Yeah, so chart's looking for the same thing. We're looking for that buy to push to the upside. Um, so now that I have these levels here marked up, I mean, this one here is probably not going to be as relevant, but I'm looking for a buy signal to push up, maybe retest this area and then close above here so that we have targets for price to keep pushing up from here, right? So I don't necessarily care if it happens down here, but if it pushes a bit higher, I think this would be super key because we have targets for price to reach up here now. But the targets that I'm seeing 40,600 is where price can go to or target. Yeah, I can see that too. So we have liquidity sitting up here. I mean, you can probably go even higher into this area up here. This is an older level of liquidity right there that hasn't gotten hit yet. Let's see. So that level of liquidity is pretty far out. I think it's on the higher time frame. So it's got a while, it's got some distance to go there. All right, so this high right here pretty much got invalidated for the most part. So now that we have these levels marked up here, you can kind of see where the range is sitting now, right? This is kind of the new range between this area. Again, we're looking for that buy signal to come up. It's not looking so hot right now, but we'll see. ATR is currently at 40. Let's take a look at the confluences over here on the 1 minute time frame. We do have a rejection off the value high. That's good. Looking at the 30-minute time frame here, this is where it becomes a little tricky because we do have a rejection at the top end. If price pushes up higher, there will no longer be a rejection there. This will actually be a rejection off the point of control, this point right here. This right here would be a possible rejection off the point of control. Looking at the 30-minute or 1 hour, actually, we do have nice rejections off the point of control on the bottom end. So the buys do look good here. Looking at the volume profile, nothing here yet so far. Clean chart. We got a rejection here that happened earlier. Possible break and retest of this area down here. But I probably look for that rejection off that point. Nothing on the SR chart, which is fine. All right, starting to pull back into the range. This was an NPSV2 for a sell, it looks like, yeah, or no, almost. This next candle could be NPSV2 for a sell right here. Yeah, so we got a sell signal, retracement, confirmation on this current candle. Or yeah, this was actually NPSV2, like you said, Christian. It was just price gap. So price did gap below right there at the last second. So this was an NPSV2 for a sell right there. The tricky area to trade, there's all these red flags in this area. We got the news price, all that stuff. It looks like price is respecting this range. So I drew this range up like a long time ago, probably like an hour ago. And looking at this range right here, it's pretty much respecting it. If you guys can see price, like the meat of the market is right here down the middle. And then when price pushes out of it, those are like fake out areas. So price pushes above, fakes out, pulls back below. Price pushes below here, pushes back up, fakes out, back into the range, right? That is what it's looking like. All right. So anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna have any entries for today, guys. It's 7:51 right now. Unfortunately, I was looking for a buy entry to come up, but it's just not looking like we're gonna get one here. See, the problem with this here now is that if price does push above, it's gonna be, and so looking at this here, this is a high-low scalp. So like I mentioned earlier, I was trying to see these high-low scalps if they were hitting or if they were going to hit. This one over here was a hit. Price broke and closed below the low right there. So it's basically back-to-back entries. This is why I was mentioning, guys, that like the strategies here, they align with each other, right? Because right here we had an MPSV2, and then this aligned with the high-low scalp. So that's why I was saying, like, if you know all the strategies that I have here, a lot of these strategies, they line up with each other. So like if you miss one strategy, they'll probably have a setup for another one. And that's basically what happened here. NPSV2 came up, this hit TP, and then this over here was a high-low scalp, and this also pushed even further to a second TP right there below. So solid. Yeah, Shabam said good day, 0 losses. Catch you tomorrow. Yeah, no, the high-low scalps are good, right, Shabam? I know back then that was when you were active too. I was like, I think before you took a break and you came back. The high-low scalps were good. So if it's something that you guys want to look at, I'll try to mark up the levels and the liquidity zones as price moves along, so that you guys can follow along with it. Ideally, I think there's still good strategies. I think everything here is still pretty good. And there's gonna be more opportunities as the volatility starts to pick back up. So, all right, Siobhan, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a buy here, guys. Volatility is back to normal, so we are at 39 ATR, and it is pretty much where it should be. It was kind of crazy to see the ATR go up to over 100 over here earlier this morning. I think that was kind of a little scary, honestly. Because when I saw that there, I was like, damn, I'm hoping we're not going back into this crazy, crazy high volatile market. And we anticipate it to come back down to where it's supposed to be. And that's kind of where it's at too. All right, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle's off for the day, so he's done. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Nice win on the NPSV2 earlier. Not much going on here, guys. Price looks like it's trying to push back up. We might get a buy signal come up here pretty soon. Let me clean up this. I'll leave it as is right now. I don't think the chart's too messy. Yeah, CJ said I personally still use the old strats as entries or confluences because I don't ever want to forget them when they come up. Yeah, I agree with you too, CJ. Like there's a couple staples that we like it's kind of hard to forget, right? Like the high-low scalps, those are hard to forget because they're so easy to see. Pivot scalps. I feel like market flow V2s, people don't look at those as often, so I don't really look at that ever. But the NPS and the NPS V2, obviously they're like they line up with each other. So and the triple confluence, like Rashida mentioned, that's another one too. Yeah. I think the high-low scalp, triple confluence, pivot scalp, NPS, NPS V2, of course. Those are like staples that will, like, you'll probably never forget because those are always going to come up. Like they come up very often. Breakout V3 continuation. Those are all directional strategies that will always come up in any type of market. I think the ones that we look for sideways, those are for sure not going to come up as often, like the high-level momentum scalp. I know CJ likes that one, but it doesn't come up as often. High-level momentum scalp and the high-low scalp version 2. Those are like the ones that don't come up very often because they're sideways strategies. But the directional ones usually come up pretty often. Yeah, and Solange said I'll never let the 10-minute snipe go. The 10-minute snipe is a good one too. It's just it takes more time to apply that one. If you guys have been applying the Solange is probably the longest standing snipe entry follower for like the longest. Yeah, because that strategy is really good. The 10-minute snipe is pretty solid. It doesn't come up as often, but when it does come up, it usually hits pretty nicely. Yeah, 10-minute snipe was one of our favorites. You can find that in the older strategies. It still works pretty well. It's just it doesn't come up as often. All right, we have a pending buy signal right here. Not looking like it's going to close. ATR is currently at 37, so that's good. Christian said, have a good day, guys. No trades here, but stay disciplined, so it is a win. Yeah, definitely, Christian. Nice work. Yeah, I didn't take any trades either, guys. So here my stats again for the year so far, if you guys haven't seen them. If you guys weren't on the live session yesterday, I took a trade. We won. I locked in 39,120. So I'm finally out of the red for April. I was in the red for April before yesterday because we had that losing week 2 weeks ago when the market was moving kind of crazy. Luckily, I was able to adjust my contract size a little bit, so I didn't lose very much. We had a win streak last week was perfect, and then we had a win today, so I'm back in profit for April. For my stats for the year so far, and this is only applying the NPSB2. So for the year so far, let me refresh this. Yeah, so for the year so far, this is where I'm at, and this is my my scale with regard to my trades all throughout the year. So from January 1st up until today, January 23rd, this is the scale. I started at zero profit, and then the profit slowly grew as we went through January, came down a little bit, grew even further during February, came down a little bit. And you guys can see this is kind of like this is how you want to see your trading go, right? I mean, I'm sure you probably won't see anybody show you their whole year. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody that really shows their whole year of trading. I see people show their calendar for a month, right? I always see people show their monthly, but I think this takes a lot for someone to show how they've been trading for the entire for the entire year. You know, we talked about this yesterday, and some people kind of responded to it, and we talked about it in private. But it's easy to be good for a day, and it's easy to be good for a week. But to be good for a month is a little difficult to stay consistent for a whole month. But to stay good for multiple months, this is from January up until April. This is where this is where the real challenge happens. Because what happens with a lot of people sometimes, and I'll kind of show you, there's no entries here, guys, so you guys are not missing out on anything here. But what happens with a lot of people is here, and I'll draw a little thing here. So let's put January, February, March, and April. So this is like what a normal scale looks. And don't worry if this is you guys, because this is what happens with a lot of people, right? So for me, if you look at my stats from January, March, February, March, April, these are what my stats kind of look like. It's kind of like a push up, little drop down, push back up higher, drop down, push back up higher, drop down, push back up higher, little drop, and then correction back up, right? This is how my profits look like for the whole year. And if you look at my thing over here, this is what it looks like for the whole year. Common thing with a lot of people is this is what happens. They'll have a good January, and then in February, they just go on tilt and they just blow they go really close to blowing their account. Then they come back a little bit, then the account's blown, right? In March. This is like a normal scale for a lot of people. They have like a glow up month where like they just have a really good month for January. They're overconfident, and then it goes downhill from there. Right. And if this is you guys, this is completely fine. It's all about consistency. Like for me, I'm only taking about one trade a day, if not any trade a day. And then I'm only focusing on one strategy. So I'm doing pretty good with the consistency to the upside. Or what you see sometimes with a lot of people is like they'll have like one really good month and then they'll have one bad month. They blow the account, right? And then they go to March and they have it's like flat. They open a new account. They have a good month, and then they blow the account in April. This is another one that I see a lot. So this might be you. Like I might be talking directly to you indirectly, right? Price might be like your profits go up in January, then you blow the account in February, then you wait, open a new account in March, blow the account in April, and there's just no consistency there. So the consistency that you guys want to see is similar to like what I'm having right here. You want to have something like where you have like an okay January, maybe a couple losses, okay February, a couple losses. Like if you can stay consistent for more than 3 months, that's like you've pretty much unlocked your trading potential at that point. Because if you're consistent for 3 months, you already know at this point that you can do this consistently year over year. And this is what happened for me. In March, we did really good actually, and then April I had some losses for that week, but then I slowly climbed my way back up in April, and now I'm back in profit. So This is where you guys want to end up. You don't want to have it where it's crazy, where it's crazy up, down, like account, like where you make a bunch of profit, then you blow the account, then you make another account, and etc. Because if you do that, you'll never get payouts. If you could do it consistently like this, you should be able to get payouts consistently month over month. So, all right, we got some crazy candles here that just came up again. There is, and it's 8 o'clock. So I don't think I'm going to be taking anything today, guys. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up. Just no trades for the day. So for this week so far, guys, I had no trades on Monday. I had a win yesterday and had no trades today. So I'm gonna hopefully aim for something on Thursday. Hopefully the market's not super crazy. We do have news tomorrow. So tomorrow we have initial jobless claims, 4-week average, continuing jobless claims, Chicago Fed National Activity Index, durable goods, good orders, non-defense, existing home sales, and existing home sales month over month. So we got news basically pre-market up until 7 o'clock. Hopefully it doesn't cause any craziness in the market. And we can hopefully catch something pretty smooth as the market progresses for this week. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out on Discord. For this week, we don't have any sessions for today, but we have a mentoring session tomorrow with Jarrell, and then I think on Friday we have a mentoring session with Steven. So if you guys want to sit down on any of those mentoring sessions, it'll happen on Thursday and on Friday. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. Hit me up on Discord if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys.